It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for action in the IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo. Welcome to the race first coverage of Championship Friday and the 2022 IndyCar iRacing Series. Today we come to you from scenic Laguna Seca, historically the home to many season-ending IndyCar races that all came down to the final laps to decide. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth for today's race, he rejoins us from doing some, some week 13 ridiculousness early today, but he's going to be here with us today to call the action and help me call the action in a critical championship race here from the Turn 4 racing team in the Velocity Online Racing Series. Please welcome Nick Sadiq. And so, Nick, this is it, man. We got no other race after this to decide anything. Does Adam Crane hoist the championship once again, or does Will Lyon become king of the jungle today?
Tell you what, Will Power, Will Lyon, very similar in the way they've been driving this whole season. So no doubt about that, Gary. But it's gonna be quite the uphill climb for Will. It's gonna be a win needed, and it's gonna be Adam Crane needing a mediocre finish or an incident, and then you gotta pray to the iRacing gods that the SOF is high enough, and it's gonna be close. So we are not gonna know until after that checkered flag falls, once the race goes official, to see how the points calculate. So just hold on, hang tight, and look for those two to do battle early on, I'm sure. And then we also have other battles too. Last week mentioning
we got a great battle brewing for not just the top two, but P3, 4, and 5 are really close.
Yeah, even Kevin Burrell, I think down there, I think in 6th or 7th, has a mathematical shot to climb up potentially to 4th or 5th in the points, as we mentioned last week. And he's been on song, and he's really been on the grind too. So look out for him to
and he's
to
provisionally
continue
on the
momentum.
pole.
Yeah, so we got those times coming in. A 106.4.
Ooh, Chris Wilhite spinning off of corner number 6 there.
That's going to be a good thing to mention. That's going to be a big problem spot. Is that turn into 6? That car loves to bottom out. There's a sausage curb, so you can't clip the curb, as well as the elevation change just shoots you right up to the climb to the corkscrew.
That is, I would say that is one of my least favorite road course turns in all of sim racing. That turn right there, turn 6. I could never get it right. I always have to go in there like really slow or very deliberate. I just cannot hit that turn without, some of these guys like Will or Kevin or maybe even Adam can hit that turn really without thinking about it. And I got to put some thought into that turn. I'm just kind of jealous of those guys, how they can just smoke right through there and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, it's all about comfort. It's all about trusting your car's setup when you throw it in there too. But that's one of the most pivotal parts, that turn and the last turn, because those are setting you up for two of the biggest passing opportunities. Obviously, passing into the corkscrew is going to be a lot more risky, and we'll touch upon that once we get in there. For those of you who have not seen this track layout in at least race format or haven't played it in any other simulator or game, it's quite a treat when you see it.
Top of the charts. Yes. The corkscrew is a very signature turn in all of auto racing and in all of IndyCar racing. As a matter of fact, the cover of IndyCar Racing 2 shows the cars from, I believe, the 84, 85 or 94, 95 season, all going through that corkscrew turn there. But we are about 2 minutes 48 seconds left here in qualifying. Right now we got Lyon, Burrell, Crane, Craig, Sandberg, Kraus, Bauman, Murray, Dory, and Principal Dan as your top 10. Still got a couple cars that have not opted to qualify as of yet. There are a couple IndyCar records here at Laguna Seca. Of course, CART came here for the longest time, and then of course IndyCar the last couple of years. 1 year was interrupted by COVID, unfortunately, but this will be the second year in a row since they've returned that they would be at Laguna Seca. But the overall IndyCar track record is held by four-time Indy 500 winner Helio Castroneves. He set the fast lap back in 2000 with a speed of 118.969 miles per hour, and we can convert those times to miles per hour for you. And we can clearly see the IR18, at least in this day, on this sim, and these conditions, 120.260 for Lyon for his average speed around this same course. Colton Herta holds the IndyCar record. That's the IndyCar sanctioning body record, set in 2019 with a speed of 114.867. Both of these were set under the current configuration. This track's gone through a couple different configurations that IndyCars have been on here. The all-time career wins leader here at Laguna Seca, 1986 Indy 500 winner Bobby Rahal won here 4 consecutive times, but that was all under the old configuration. Thus, if you win here 4 times, you get to have a straightaway named after you. Danny Sullivan, Michael Andretti, Paul Tracy, Brian Herta, Patrick Carpentier, and Colton Herta all have 2 wins apiece here, and they're their second most in series history. Laguna Seca is also home to Rick Mears' 7th and final road course win, and of course, this is also the home of the infamous last lap, a race-winning pass by Alex Zanardi on Brian Herta in the corkscrew in 1996, dubbed simply as the pass, although Romain Grosjean really tried to repeat it on Jimmy Johnson last season, but was less graceful in doing so. So about 42 seconds left here qualifying, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, that's all I gotta say is yes, that's a good reference there. The if you've never seen the pass, if you've never heard, God forbid, if you've never heard of Alex Zanardi, first off, what a human being he is. Just look him up, research him. Phenomenal race driver. Had a tragic accident, lost both his legs.
Man has horrible,
he's a Paralympian, gold medalist.
Luck. He has great luck on one hand, but horrible luck on another. But Paralympian, a medal winner, or world record holder, you name it.
And he's still active in GT racing now. He's very fast with hand controls, and just a stand-up guy. He's always looking to help everybody around him. So, big motorsports idol for me. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
Well, I will say, and there's been many drivers that have not raced in the Indy 500 that have been raced also throughout kart history. I would say that Alex Zanardi is the best driver in IndyCar history that has never raced in the Indy 500.
Agreed.
Probably
Totally
right
agree.
behind him is Greg Moore. But it's hard to believe that Alex Zanardi, with all his accolades, all his win, I mean, he is the creator. Every time you see someone during what, in a NASCAR Cup Series race or Xfinity race, or anytime you see him do a donut, they didn't invent that. That's Alex Zanardi. He's the one that invented the victory donuts. That is an IndyCar originated post-race tradition now, and it was started here in IndyCar, and that was started by Alex Zanardi. All his accolades, never once turned a lap at Indianapolis under race conditions. He might have done some testing there, but he never once, and that is really a shame. But truly one of the greatest that has never done anything in Indianapolis. Let's get the starting lineup down.
Yeah, good time to kick into it. Some good vibes, and hopefully we have an amazing race just like that aforementioned pass.
Well, let's go ahead and get the starting lineup down. We got a 23-car lineup. Will Lyon on the pole, looking to clinch this championship in the best way possible, is leading the field to green. Kevin Burrell looking for 2 in a row here on the Top Split broadcast. Adam Crane, P3, needs to keep Will Lyon in his sights at all times on every lap this race. Rashid Craig, he's in a battle for P3 in this championship. He's in a good spot to possibly finish on that podium step there in the championship. He is starting 4th. Anders Sandberg in the number 7, starting 5th. Matthias Kraus, he is also in that battle for the top 5. He is starting 6th in the number 5.
Number 7th spot, we've got Chris Bauman. Again, looking to gain some positions in that championship after some up and down luck during the season here. 8th spot, Ryan Murray. 9th, Doriano Ricciucci. We got Bruno Mello in 10th. Dan Piazza making an appearance again. Good to see Dan back in P11. And Yannick Gerardis in P12.
Moving on, Chris Wilhite's got himself a little bit of a hole he needs to dig himself out of, starting in 13 and the number 9. Lorado Biglani starting back in the 14th. Seb Alexander, he's back in 15th. Tengai, man, you guys are killing me with these names. Quay Guigneur, if we said that wrong, let us know. But Tengai, he is back there in 16th. David Hinger, 17th. Alexander Stratsinko in 18th.
And 19th, and drivers on back not making qualifying time. We've got Tobias Cantert. We've got Cesar Cabral, who had a little bit of trouble in qualifying, had a few spins on each of his out laps, unfortunately, but look for him to blast through the field. P20. Makoto Yamasaki making an appearance for, I think, the first time this season.
Yes.
21st.
Welcome.
Connor McClellan, welcome as well. 22nd, and last but not least in 23rd is Juan Carlos Chirinos. So that is our field here as we get set for this championship finale. Again, Will Lyon in the best spot possible to go for that win, but Adam Crane's going to keep him locked on target the whole time.
And there we go. First car on the hard tires, by the way, is Will Hite. He's back a little ways, but everyone, we got a green flag.
Oh, so we have cars off track. That is Dory and Bruno.
Bruno
and
Mello,
Andretti Hairpin.
Yeah, and one's going to go ahead and do a direct. One's going to go ahead and do a direct tow. And looks like Dory is going to have a little bit of a floppy rear wing that he needs to get to the pits to get fixed. But his race already off to a auspicious start. Here we come up through turn 6. Will Lyon is your leader coming into the infamous corkscrew.
And Adam Crane got by Kevin Burrell there on the run up to right before turn 6 into the corkscrew. So Adam just staying behind Will, knowing what he has to do. But if we know Adam Crane, he's going to sit by his time, or bide his time a little bit, sit back, and then he's going to wait to pounce. He wants that win. He wants to close out the season on top.
That's how you do it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Again, the first car on the prime tire is Chris Bauman in 7th.
Tire wear should be present, but it's not going to be as prevalent as some other tracks we've been to. The track temperature is actually pretty reasonable, one of the lowest that we've had all season right now, about 30 degrees Celsius, and that should fall as, Kevin Burrell with a little bit of an incident going a little wide there. Was in 2-3 spots. So Burrell back into 6th now. Again, very, very easy to lose traction here. The track, by nature, just with all of the dust around, all of the dirt around, it's a very, very slippery in some spots.
Yeah, and this is what it looks like in real life. And you get a wheel off, that is not good here in just about any place on the entire racetrack.
Yeah, it is. It's not the lowest grip circuit that we have all season, but it's definitely in terms of optimal grip, it is definitely on the low end of the spectrum here for sure, with the 16 rounds that we've been running this whole year. So Lion out to about a 3/4 of a second gap right now. Crane again behind him. Rashad, Craig, we've got all 3 of our championship contenders throughout the last half of the season, all 1, 2, 3. Couldn't ask for a better start for them. That is for sure.
Now, also, what do you think of possibly team orders in this championship? Because do you think that Craig, even though he's going to be in a battle for possibly the bottom step of the championship podium, might he be in a position where he can help Will, who is a teammate of his, in the championship at all?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm sure they're on communications together. Rashad is probably one of the cleanest drivers on the service. I think the only time I've ever seen him have that incident was that little gaff back in Chicago when him and Will actually tangled up, but they were fighting hard.
Everybody had lots of gaffes in Chicago.
Yes. But, if Rashad can get past Adam, if Adam has a mistake, why not?
Here's a battle back here for 11th and 12th. A whole host of cars all tight together here. Chris Wilhite in this battle as well.
Yeah, I spoke to Chris before the race a couple nights ago, and just the consensus was with all of the road races for him, it's just keep the nose clean and just keep building momentum. He's been having better performances throughout the year in his road racing. He's absolutely an oval specialist, but he's been definitely on the grind with the road racing, both in the IndyCar and the NASCAR Cup car as well, too, the next gen Cup car. So if he can squeak out a top 8 here, let's continue clocking good laps. I think that'll be a good place to end the season for him.
We got friend of the program, Fagundo Arago, in chat right now. He's the winner of our coverage of the Stock Carnival de Brazil. We're back here watching this battle here for 11th. Yannick Gerarde, because he had a little off track. Tobias Cannert as well. They're just all tight together back here. Tobias there sporting the German flag on his car. Very patriotic.
Very easy, like you said a little bit ago, Gary. You get an even centimeter of your wheels off here. You're gonna have to slow down immensely, or you're gonna go for a spin.
Get that dust off your tires.
Nice edge.
Yeah, but we got Fagundo here, and he of course won the Stock Carnival de Brazil series that we had on Thursdays, and we kind of talked him into trying some IndyCar road courses here. So he's getting an education right now here, watching the IIS guys. And here's this battle for 13th, 12th, and 13th. As Cannert looking to the outside of Gerard's going into the Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, Gerard's is just playing the smart defense there, going a little defensive, parks it on the apex, but has a terrible exit off of there. Gets the wheel down.
Yeah, lets him have the position. Looks like Yannick's sporting some the Dutch Racing League in the back of his wing. So I guess we have a Dutch IR18 league out there that we don't know about yet. Always like learning about more of these IR18 leagues. I've noticed that the great thing about all these the popularity in IndyCar growing is the actually the European fan base is getting bigger and bigger almost every year in every race, and it's good seeing that these the Europeans are willing to give these formula cars that are not quite as nimble and fast as Formula One on road courses, but just as technical to drive, giving these Indy cars a good shot.
Yeah, it's really interesting time in world motorsport right now. We've got this culmination of series. I feel like almost working together. Formula One is getting more popular over here in North America, and especially in the United States. Whereas IndyCar and even NASCAR too are getting more popular again over across the pond. So it's just a good time for motorsport, and I feel like this is a good hurrah before inevitably we're going to have to start making that transition more towards not just sustainability, but electric cars are going to be taking more shape here. We have the introduction in this build of iRacing coming up with the project car from
First
Porsche.
e-car, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a concept for potentially their electric GT entry for FIA, or at least some form of it, as well as other projects planned in the future. So it's interesting times for motorsport, but you've got a plethora of world class league series disciplines right now, and it's never been more accessible to watch, in all honesty.
Currently watching Matthias Kraus right now is a bit of a battle here for fourth. Sandberg, Burrell, Kraus kind of broken away from Principal Dan Bauman and Murray in ninth. Kind of battle going back here again with this battle for right around 13th, 14th, 15th. Alexander Straczynski and Seb Alexander, they're all slicing and dicing back there.
Seb gets tapped a little bit in the left corner there. Just a little contact here. Thankfully, tires don't get cut here in iRacing, at least not yet.
Not yet.
That was wing on wheel contact. Seb with a big lockup. It's very, very quick with that elevation change. If you have any sort of trail braking, that left front is going to lock up, and then the right front's going to lock up, and then you're in world trouble. Yeah,
and there's the car is spinning off of that corner as they get under power too, because look, here we go, watching these guys here. Seb Alexander,
a little bit of a hip check there as Alexander went wide.
Juan Carlos there has moved his way up into the 15th spot. He is up 7 spots. Right behind him is Connor McClellan.
I think Seb Alexander's car is busted. Yeah, his whole steering rack is bent.
And he's done. He is going to tow, and he had an incident with Alexander Straczynski and the black number 14 there. He is going to go back under power, but he is back down in the order at the moment. But back up front, about a half second separates our leaders, Lion and Crane.
Gap has been slowly starting to come down a little bit there. Adam's been put on the pressure as Lion locks up there in turn 2. Lion's had the clean air to work with. The aero wash isn't that noticeable comparatively to like oval driving, but you still work the tires a little bit more behind another car. So it's very interesting to notice that Lion might be pushing a little harder, and Crane is just trying to keep a cool head, keep the nose clean. Rashad, again, still about a second back from this group as well too, staying in contact, staying in that draft range for the front straight. And it looks like Anders Sandberg and Kevin Burrell are going to be about 4 seconds back from the top 3. Yeah, everybody on the softer tires to start. Again, tire wear shouldn't be an issue, but we will be looking at 2 stops as we are getting about halfway through the potential fuel stint.
Said about 17 laps, you said?
No, you can go about, if I did the calculations right, should be about 22 to 20. You can stretch it out to 27 if you really wanted to. You really don't need to. Or 28 laps, I think. Let me double check real fast. I've been prepping for like 4 league races, so I just don't have a brain fart here. Yeah, 22 to 27 laps, so...
Well, before we get to this first pit stop, would like to remind everybody that currently about 54.3% of you that are watching this right now are not subscribers. You could do us a huge favor and change that right now if you hit that red button, make it gray. But we are on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. We have less than 1,000 to go. Excuse me, less than 100 to go now. Actually, we have less than just over 90 now or so to go. But if you enjoy Race First coverage of the IIS all season long and like what we do, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by hitting that subscribe button for us. It would do us a big favor. And then while you're at it, click the bell so you don't miss out on any future Race First iRacing broadcasts. Of course, we're the only race this week that we're broadcasting. Bit of an off week for all of us here. That's kind of nice. But it picks up in earnest next week on Monday and Tuesday as the Indy Fix Series picks back up, and now it'll be 1 year anniversary of our coverage of the Fix Series. And of course, on Tuesdays will be the continuation of the Race First Formula Indy Series. So make sure to click that subscribe button, hit the bell, and while you're at it, don't forget thumbs up. We really do appreciate that. That always helps the algorithm and other IndyCar fans find our races. And when you click that, currently watching this battle right here for Sandberg Burrell, as is getting probably the closest here on the racetrack at the moment.
Yep, two Team Watson Racing affiliated drivers there. Burrell with a couple other sponsors and associated teams. Sandberg with the great run with those pink, yellow, green colors. Kind of a TWR staple there, as I always love to mention that paint scheme. It's just, I'm very, very much a fan of very loud, vibrant, flamboyant colors. So you know, always give a big shout out to that paint whenever I see Anders running it here.
Always reminds me of the mid '90s Team Menard liveries.
Yes. Somebody making moves, though. We mentioned them earlier. Tobias Cantor over in P12 now, looking to pounce on P11. He started back in 19th. He is one of the 3 spots. Yeah, one of the 3 people up 7 spots, but definitely making the most impact on the race. Gaining about a half second to a second a lap on the crowd in front of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's been a very good history of German drivers in IndyCar history. Arndt Meyer is about the only one I can think of at the moment, and that's not the best one. But yeah, there's been a definite deficit of German drivers to be in IndyCar, and then of course of any wins to speak of for that matter. So good to see of course a country dominated by the shadow of Michael Schumacher. Of course, it's good to see Germans with the interest in IndyCar.
So just a quick shout out to Seb Vettel. If you ever want to run the Indy 500, please, by all means, do. By all means, please do.
They all, it's kind of like Ricardo was saying. He's like, I'm not so sure of the ovals. And they all say that. And then they go to the ovals and they watch the oval and they go, well, I could probably do that. And then they get behind a wheel like Roman Grosjean did at Gateway. And then they're like, all of a sudden, like, these ovals are fun.
Cancer.
And Cantor getting that pass, moving up down to the 11th spot now. So he's looking at Chris Wilhite to break into the top 10. But yeah, I think all these drivers really need to do is in IndyCar racing, they very rarely throw someone that's not experienced into the fire and say, go ahead, figure it out on your own. There'll be, of course, you still have the old guard driver school there. You still have Rutherford still around. You still have AJ Foyt. You still have a host of legacy oval drivers from old IndyCar and USAC series of the past that are there to always give lead and advice to non-oval drivers. But even before they get to do anything in Indianapolis, they still got to pass orientation. And if they don't pass orientation, they don't get the race at Indianapolis. So, and then with the way they handle orientation in Indianapolis is they just kind of slowly lead you up into getting faster. And I think if a lot of these Formula One drivers are kind of scared of the ovals, were actually learn that program and get used to that program, they would probably be okay on the ovals. And we've seen a history of Formula One drivers coming over to IndyCar and all of a sudden becoming really good at ovals. Emerson Fittipaldi, Nigel Mansell, to name a few.
Even I would say Fernando Alonso was within a shot if his engine wouldn't have given up.
That's true. That is true. Very true.
So, yeah, exciting times, and that kind of goes into the whole theme of motorsport, world motorsport coming a collective, and it's just really exciting times in sim racing and real life racing. It's almost hitting I wouldn't call it a golden era quite yet, but definitely hitting a new peak in terms of just accessibility, understanding, popularity, and we thank you for joining us in our little corner of the world here as well too. So thank you very much to all of you viewers and fans for watching us throughout this season here doing IIS.
And it is a really exciting time to be an IndyCar fan. And how can you not be excited about this weekend? 5 drivers are in the hunt for the Astor Cup, for the NTT IndyCar title. 5 drivers any one of those 5 this weekend, depending on how the cards fall, can walk out as a champion after the checkered flag at Laguna Seca. I mean, how exciting is that?
It's going to be action-packed. Please, if you've never watched a real-life IndyCar race, this is the race to watch this weekend. It is going to be full send from about a quarter of the field.
You got the this year's Indy 500 winner in there. You have the new Penske prodigy of Scott and McClellan in there, McLaughlin, excuse me. And then you have, of course, if the cards fall right his way, he might be the new career IndyCar titles winner or leader with Scott Dixon. Right now, he's tied with AJ Foyt with 7 titles. Will Power, he could win the championship on the power of just 1 win this season. I mean, it's awesome looking at all this action.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most interesting seasons throughout the year. This year especially too. So, yeah, looking extremely forward to this weekend's real life action. But the action we got right now here has kind of settled down. I think everybody's kind of hit I don't call it the doldrums, but we've definitely hit the calm part of the race where everybody knows there's pit stops coming up in about anywhere between 4 to 8 to 9 laps, depending on how far these drivers want to go. Track temp, as I say, that actually just fell, so as that continues to fall, tire wear should be a little less of an issue here as well too.
You know, I want to point out, next time we come into the Andretti hairpin, there seems to be a bit of tarmac that looks like dirt, but apparently it's handling like asphalt. that drivers can go very wide at there on the exit or the entrance to the hairpin and make that turn just a little bit faster. We're just watching Rashid Craig just a second ago. He had all 4 wheels off the racetrack doing the entrance into turn 1. We'll see if he does it again here. He's currently in 3rd spot here in that green and silver, green and chrome IAR car. IAR cars are in 1st and 3rd right now at the moment.
Tell you what, he has been clawing back a little bit at Adam Crane here by about a tenth, half a tenth to a tenth a lap. So he's definitely, I'm sure he's getting coached. Maybe might have the team boss on the call there, or one of the other main IAR representatives.
When he gets off here, look at the fully 2 wheels, 3/4 of the car off into the I would call it the dirt there, but not losing any grip to make that turn in.
The old phrase, you give a racing driver a millimeter, they'll take a mile.
They'll take a mile, right? Yes.
Something like that.
Let's check out another close battle on the racetrack. Kevin Burrell and Sandberg. This is Burrell 3/10 back from Sandberg at the moment. So if I remember last week, Burrell towards the end of his runs was pretty quick. Sandberg was pretty quick at the end of his stints. Burrell was extremely fast at the beginning of his stints. But it looks like it might be the opposite this week, as Burrell has definitely reeled in that Sandberg in that TWR car.
Yeah, talking with Burrell before the race as well, he felt confident in his ability. Obviously, I mean, when you get your first broadcast win, yeah, you're gonna be riding that momentum through the next couple of sessions at the very least. But he wasn't quite as happy with the race setup that he had going, but he did make a few changes between his first race of the week. For those of you who are newer here, iRacing has multiple sessions during the week, especially even of these special year-long series. You can race on any number of them, and you get a few of them dropped from your worst performances for the year. And typically it only will take your best result for the limited number of sessions there are for this series in particular.
Two other splits going on at the moment. 3 overall here for the 2 p.m. Eastern window here for the IIS. This weekend we'll decide the Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, 4, and 5 championships. 6 is out there as well.
Yeah, Burrell's car does look stronger through that middle part of the track.
Hey, he was faster by a tenth.
Yeah, the confidence breaking into Andretti there, into the turn 1 and turn 2 in the Andretti hairpin, much more prevalent in the number 3 car with Kevin Burrell there.
Actually, I was wrong. Sandberg was faster by just about a tenth that time by, so my mistake. Sandberg's making up the time, I think, here up on the climb. And watch him. So
he just starts to pull away a little bit.
This is a handling issue then. Aero issue, possibly. Maybe less downforce, more downforce, or less down. He'd have more downforce through this portion, right? I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. It could also be tire wear too. If your car isn't handling as
Burrell's going to the pits.
That might be our
Gotta watch this pit road. Very tricky pit road here.
Yeah, many a times in a car without ABS that I have hit that wall. Many a times. Just a straight, lunge into the pit lane and then a sudden left 90-degree hand turn.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a chicane, but just a jog there, and then you got to a very tight left-hander to get on the pit road.
Did Roman Grosjean hit the pit wall going into there?
Yes.
If I remember correctly?
Yes. He hit everything last season. He still managed to get a almost a podium finish. He might have got a podium finish. I can't remember. I just remember he was hitting everything. But we are back underway there. Kevin Burrell, is back to 12th. We'll take a look here at Will Lyon. He bypasses pit road to go for another lap. Real quick, just want to run this all by everybody. This is a last chance to donate to the broadcast fund for the 2022 IIS broadcast here on Raceverse. So if you're just joining us, this is Raceverse coverage of the Friday top split of the IIS coming to you from Laguna Seca. We're about 24 laps in of scheduled 72. If you enjoy the coverage of today's race, we'd like to monetarily support our commentary team. Make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link in the description for your convenience. And so you don't lose track of any action, you can donate right now and still listen to our call of the race. All you have to do is right-click on the link in the description, open our GoFundMe page in another tab, and make your donation. And when you're done, just close the tab, and you'll be right back with us. It's just that easy. But today is your last chance to donate to the broadcast fund. And if you haven't done so already and enjoy the coverage, please do so as Will Lyon hits pit road.
Yep, right on cue. Adam Crane right behind him. Rashad Craig right behind him. Anders Sandberg going to be coming in as well, so we've got a lot of action on pit road here.
We'll turn the camera to Principal Dan there in the number 6. He's going to hit pit road. See if Chris Wilhite, he's coming down off the hill here. He's going to hit pit road as well. So it looks like everybody is going to stop this time. No one's going to go try to stretch it, and this might turn over some positions to Kevin Burrell, who is currently in 7th. Will Lyon is down on the way, and he is in the Andretti hairpin on-ramp, so to speak, with Adam Crane right behind him, Rashid Craig right there, and Kevin Burrell has moved his way up to P4.
Looks like Burrell with the undercut there.
Yeah. Got one position on Sandberg. Sandberg with a bad pit off. He's in the dirt. He's going to lose a position to Kraus. And that very tricky pit road coming off of pit road there is gets a veteran driver.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he might have a penalty on him as well too. Sometimes if you go off, you don't even have to re-enter.
Yeah, dangerous
the driving surface.
Dangerous entry or exit off of pit road. We'll see what happens if that might result in a black flag. He did go ahead and go through the cones to exit properly, but no telling that if he might get a penalty. So we'll keep an eye on him. But now our top 5 at the moment is Will Lyon and Adam Crane, Rashid Craig, Kevin Burrell, and Matthias Kraus, and we're watching Sandberg as he's bypassing pit road, and he might have got lucky.
Yeah, very lucky not to get a pit out, dangerous pit out penalty there. iRacing can be very, very notorious for being strict with giving out that automatically. Again, this is official setup or official series, so no live stewarding. Everything's done through iRacing's automated calculations and systems, which are generally, pretty good. I'd rather it be a little too strict than not
letting people get away with murder. Yeah. But we got our leader coming up to some lap traffic there. Let's see, we got McClellan, let me say that right. And Juan Carlos is in this battle here for position. This is 15th and 16th. McClellan getting the run to the inside over Juan Carlos and getting the position, but they have the leader right down their throats at the moment.
It's always a tricky situation, always precarious when you hit traffic for the first time.
We were talking kind of pre-race, and you said the number there goes Will Lyon around Juan Carlos, and now he's going to look to try to go after Connor McClellan here. But we were talking about the car count before, and I think he said 23, and I kind of came back and said that's probably a good number for this track.
Yep, that is, if we had any more, they would be probably, they're going to be hitting a mass amount of traffic, maybe once, twice per stint now. Everybody else should be pretty spread out for the most part, but if we had a full course of 28 cars,
David Hinger getting wide. Oh, that's not David Hinger. That is that's Yamasaki, unfortunately, who is multiple laps down, getting wide there, but allowing Yamasaki staying high through the hairpin, allowing both the leaders through, and letting some other traffic through as well.
Lion taking his time through this traffic. Feels comfortable enough to give up a little bit of time to Adam Crane behind him just to get through safely. You can't win with your car being out, I think is his mindset right now.
To finish first you must finish.
That's right.
The adage is 100% correct. Of course, through the corkscrew, the site of the infamous pass, and as Nick was saying in the pre-race, if you've never seen the pass, certainly it is out there on YouTube. Make sure to search that out. Alex Zanardi, The Pass, Laguna Seca, The Pass. Search those keywords, and you will see how he pulled that thing off. And he just, if he just decided he was going to use a regular braking zone and brake on a normal lap, he would not have made that pass. He full sent it there. He was like, I'm going to win this race, or I'm going to send the car off into the curbing there on the other side and into the wall if I don't. But he ended up pulling it off, and he got. Ultimately, if it was iRacing that was doing the timing and scoring, he probably would have got a slowdown penalty. I would have bet.
Yeah,
but he
track
did,
limits.
But he did not get that. He did not get a track penalty during his attempt back there in 96, excuse me. So now we got Lion getting slowed down by McClellan here in the 20 in the number 21. There they are getting by, and that allowed Crane to get really close.
Yeah, that I could see the frustration in Will's the car body language there. He's trying to find a hole, but for whatever reason,
there's not very many places to pass here.
No, I mean, it's technically McClellan's right to stay on the lead lap, but when you have the championship contenders right behind you,
yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
And they're lapping about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. That you're running a different race than them. You got to let them go.
Yeah, you got to let them go. You don't want to be that guy.
So that will bunch them back up. We'll see if Crane pounces on this opportunity. Crane braking extremely late compared to Lion. Very comfortable with the braking, but Lion is carrying the momentum mid-corner off, as you can see, climbing up to the hairpin yet again.
You see that left front wheel, because of the camber of the road where it falls off there through the corkscrew, stops spinning while under braking there for all these cars, pretty much. Mm-hmm. These cars do not like rapid elevation changes, and you'll find that we have not seen a lot of it. We might see this as the tires start to wear off a little bit, but cars getting spinning out, coming out of the corkscrew, because as they go downhill, that loads the back end a little bit and causes those cars to spin out, lightens up the back end.
Yeah, very easy. You want to definitely, if you're driving, use those tools. You definitely want to soften up the rear ARB as you are kind of going through your stint here, because you do have to power out a lot of these corners, especially 5 and right here at 6. So you're going to put a lot of load on that right rear. You soften up the rear ARB, gives you a little bit more bite off, doesn't rotate the car as nice, but when your tires are worn, it's going to do it for you, with just the lack of grip on those on that rubber. Additionally, too, don't forget about brake bias. Brake bias is key, and that might be why Adam Crane might be closing up a little bit on those. Ooh, as he gets a little squirrely out of the final turn there. A little bit too much brake bias to the rear, eat up those rear tires a little bit more, and that can cause instability under braking. But at the same time, if you can manage it, you have more rear brake bias, you're actually more efficient with your braking and can brake about 10-15 meters later than your opponent.
Taking a peek back here at a battle for 6th and 56th. Sandberg on the outside of Kraus through the Andretti hairpin. Not going to be able to pull that off. Going to maintain his momentum here. Might take another look when they get to 5. Very fast portion of the racetrack here. They don't have to slow down too much for this corner. But 5 could be a passing zone. He's going to take a look. And there he goes. Dives in deep. And he gets the position on exit. So Sanders and Kraus swapping spots there. Of course, Sandberg lost the position to Burrell under the under pitting. So he's trying to recover some of that.
Oh, does look like Kraus is on the harder compound tires, so he's going to have a little bit less grip around here. And as we indicated earlier, grip is at a premium here on this circuit, so that's softer tires. As we go back up front,
Sandberg around at corner 11, and that allows Kraus on by, and Bauman's going to get a jump on Sandberg as well. Sandberg is trying to get going. He's to the inside down the main straight. He's recovered, but he has lost 2 positions, and now Chris Wilhite now is making up the deficit on him. There's Chris, you see, just entering the picture, but Sanders spins out under acceleration coming out of turn 11, costing him another couple more spots.
We've got a lot of action now. Dan Piazza actually just got spun out from, I believe, Tobias making contact, and we have a battle just brewing again. Crane looked to the outside of turn 4 as we were talking and focusing on the other battle, just keeping Lion honest.
Take a look at this spin out here by Principal Dan. Yeah, under braking, just little nose. So you got to be cognizant of the car in front of you when they decide to back their braking point up. You'll have to back your braking point up a little bit, or be in a position where you're not going to hit them when they do back that point up. But that then puts Principal Dan in 16th to the pits for repairs. So not a great day for the Old Dogs team. That's Dory in the number 11 and 20th, and Principal Dan in the number 6th and 16th.
Oh, I'm keeping an eye on the battle up front.
We are on it right now.
Oh my goodness, Crane just closed up about a third of a second just in that braking zone into the corkscrew.
Crane has used up half his push to passes. He is down the 5. If this is your first IndyCar race and you're not sure what push to pass means, it gives each driver 20 seconds of momentary horsepower increase while under 100% throttle, and they got 10 pushes of that button throughout the race. You can use it to attack and defend, but if you're tight on fuel, it will impact your fuel mileage.
Yep, you get a little higher in the RPM range with it as well too, which just burns the fuel off. You can easily use, for a lap this size, about a tenth or so of a liter more, even on the just using it on the front straight, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're trying to do a fuel mileage run, a tenth can be the difference between you sputtering and you just being full power at the end. For that last little gasp there. Mentioning push to pass 2, Lion, typical fashion, kind of saving them to defend.
Yep, saving them all to the end there. So once again, both these cars are on the red sidewall tires visually and on timing and scoring. We've gone through yet another iRacing patch period, and they have not fixed this ongoing issue with IndyCar and not visually reflecting what tire compound they have on the car on road courses. So this has been like this I think since the better part of at least the last 3 seasons that I can think of, but certainly since when they brought that the hard and soft compound tires out for the IR18. I think it's been ongoing since then. So I think we've had that feature for right about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And iRacing does know about it, by the way. That it's been reported. Sorry. Go right ahead.
Oh, kind of looking at the tires just from the suspension camera on our 2 lead cars here. Those left fronts. Comparing the left fronts of the tires, Adam Crane's left front looks chewed up already. Like, again, it is still visual, so it doesn't necessarily mean wear, but just comparing the 2 cars, you see a lot more, like, almost amber color, and unless he goes off the road there, but a little bit more amber color on Crane's tires, a little bit more discoloration. A little bit more, putting a little bit more wheel into that left front there. It could be powering out of the corkscrew. It could be the old 3-4 complex as well too, out of the Andretti hairpin. But that might explain why he is losing a little bit of time through those sections. As you see, his car just kind of wants to wash up a little bit coming out of the corkscrew on that left-hander, or that, excuse me, the right-hander there. Just wants to wash up the road a little bit, not set him up for the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. Now, lying out to about an 8/10 of a second gap now. We were as close as not about 7 laps ago. If you're just joining us, thank you again for tuning into Race Versus live coverage of the final round of the IndyCar iRacing Series. Nick Sudik here with Gary Godso on the commentary booth here in beautiful virtual Laguna Seca in the wonderful hills of California here.
Wine country.
Yes.
Of course, there are quite a few people that do get this place kind of mixed up a little bit with Sonoma. They're not too far from one another, but Sonoma, of course, has the drag strip as well.
Would love to see a race here with the with like the grass and whatnot around as well, like just like a spring day. I don't know if it's so prevalent here, but if you've ever seen Sonoma when everything's in bloom, it is absolutely beautiful. Very rare for it to happen.
There we see our leader going through 6. He has, who's that in front of him there? That is Yannick Gerards, who has not had a great day. He's kind of hovering right where he started. He worked his way up to the bottom portion of the top 10, and then since giving it up, he's now going to break a little early, give the position to Will, but breaks right in behind him and kind of maybe cuts off, at least at Adam's eyes, possibly. Adam from getting to Will there.
Kind of reminded me of one of those awkward moments if you've ever watched like an endurance race. You have a prototype coming up to a GT car, and the GT car has to take the line between 2 cars battling. It's kind of the same situation here. Not a lot of width on the track, especially down there towards the end of the lap.
No, not at all. Not a very wide track at all. Of course, throughout the season, IndyCar will race on road courses that are much wider than this. A lot of runoff area, as you can see. And to the outside, coming into the hairpin, That gets a little tight, but he managed to pull that off. Getting around Gerards. That moves. Actually, the last car on the lead lap is Biglani. That is him in the Arrows McLaren livery, number 17 right there. He is at a P11, so we've lapped up to the 11th spot.
Yeah, looking through the rest of the field here, we've got everybody pretty spread out. Chris Wilhite, mentioned him earlier on trying to get a good finish here, get his road racing credentials up even more, up to P8 now. I'm gonna look for Chris to make a splash here, potentially gaining another position or two, as he's been slowly clawing his way up quietly through the field.
Of course, we saw Chris a couple seasons back during the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split. A very good oval driver, but learning and honing his hand here on the road courses. As he blinks out, he's back with us, bringing the number 9 up to P8, up 5 spots here. 41 of 72 laps in the books here at Laguna Seca.
Lion is now lapping P11. Biglani now a lap down there. So these leaders are on a tear. Like, it is only a minute and 7 minute, not to 10-second lap, but this is a heck of a pace, and we are a little over halfway right now. And they've already lapped half the field.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty torrid pace, actually, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect that they will get well into the top 10 when they start. This is all said and done with in terms of lapping traffic. So, Kennard, he did not want to give up that position very easily. He cut right in front of the leader. Going to cost him a little time. Probably not going to make Will very happy.
Head down.
Will just going to send it in there, right there in the Andretti hairpin. Now, the old configuration of Laguna Seca, that straightaway was about 25% longer. And what happened is that it would, the turn 1 then would connect, the straightaway would connect turn 1 to this portion of the racetrack right here. So if you look at the old maps, the configuration of Laguna Seca, it was almost one big oval. There were actually only 2 left turns on the entire track. Here's one of them right here at the bottom of the corkscrew. And here's the other one at the bottom of the hill. Now is the other one. So on the old configuration, very few right-handed turns.
One of those lost circuits, one of those circuits that, I mean, in today's eyes, probably shouldn't exist just for a safety standpoint, but still exciting to think about, and something I would love to like drive, like a historic car, like get like a Lotus 78 there. Or
yeah, I don't know if a Assetto Corsa or one of the other racing sims that is R Factor or something that's easily modified has that track available, but that would be very interesting. I mean, they ran that track up to 86, and then 87, I believe, is when they started with the current track. But the thing is, a lot of people just went unnoticed because the signature corkscrew remained the same. It's just everything leading up to the corkscrew is what changed. But you can watch some of those older races, and the draft was in full effect for those Indy cars. Ooh, Lion getting squirrely at the bottom of the corkscrew. Catches it. But yeah, the draft was in full effect going into turn 1 there. That you can clearly see the cars draft up on one another, and I'm sure that's probably why they shortened it a little bit.
Yeah, I was just about to comment there too. It looked like the tires are really starting to fall off for Crane and Lion both. Look, Crane's front tires were getting a little bit worn early on, as I mentioned about like five, 6 laps ago. But Crane has been slowly creeping back, and he saw Lion have that moment, so Crane might have the late run pace on these soft tires. Now, they will both be on the same compound to the end. In this series, you have to run both the primary, which is the regular black sidewall tire, which is a little harder, as well as the alternate tire, which seems to be the better race tire here, just because of the lack of grip here on this circuit. But they will both be equal on strategy. Just depends, will one of them blink and maybe pit a lap early? We saw Burrell, Mr. Burrell there, make an undercut and pass Anders Sandberg before Anders had his incident. So we will be looking to see, might Crane dip in a little bit? A little early.
Oh, getting to that window. Everyone's been on. This will be the 21st lap for Lion here on his current stint. Crane, 21 laps. Craig, 20 laps. 22 apiece for Burrell, Kraus, and Bauman. Next car, or last car in the lead lap, there is Ryan Murray. There's Ryan there. And the black number 15. Says sponsorship. I don't need sponsorship. Just give me a car.
Looks like Anders Sandberg is starting to get towards the gearbox of Chris Bauman. Less than 2 seconds separate them now, so Anders definitely recovering from the spin earlier. Still on potentially for a top 5 if he can get to.
He's recovering from that. Yeah, he's recovering from that spin and also that pit out incident that he had. So he's had a bit rougher day, seeing the car pointed in different directions than he really wanted to.
Looks like we have our first taker on pit lane. We got Bigliani coming in from P12. So anticipate the pit window being open for these lead drivers very shortly, within the next probably 2 laps.
Still showing Seb Alexander's car there drawn on pit road, so he's still involved in this race, probably helping out his teammates of Lion and Craig and Will Height, I'm willing to imagine. IAR putting 4 cars in the top split today. It's Indy Alliance Racing. So Bigliani is back down and away. That is that his final stop? Is he good to go to the end?
Should be. Yeah, should be just fine. Might have to do like a couple laps of fuel saving, but I mean, generally speaking, you can get 24 laps, 23, 24 laps pretty easily. So it's a very minor fuel saving stint, if anything. So we should be good to go there. No full course yellows here. They are disabled in iRacing for road races because of the way the system works and it tracks. It's a little difficult for it to be fair. It'll notice like some off tracks or somebody's going super slow. It'll bug out, throw a flag. Or sometimes it just won't work at all. So they've been working on it, I know, for a while. But it's still one of those league-only things you really want to have with live stewarding.
Well, actually, there's an app out now that I've been looking at. Probably needs to do a heavy degree of testing, but it's called iRace Control, and I believe I just noticed it from the forums, and it has an auto stewarding feature in it.
Oh, line in the pits.
That is line in the pit, and Crane is not going to try the over. Ooh, he came in there deep. He was sliding around there at pit entrance.
Hey, don't need those tires.
Nope, don't need them anymore. Oh, Craig coming in as well.
All right, everybody on equal footing here. Crane did make, with that aggressive pit stop, look like he did make a little bit of ground up. We'll see how much. Should be all taking full tanks. Prime tires.
And line down and away.
Rain away as well. You can gain a lot of time to this hairpin.
Or lose a lot of time, as we've seen.
Like, Crane did gain about a half a second there through that pit cycle there, but let's see how these tires come up to temperature. They are ice cold, no tire warmers on these, so you really got to work them in, especially these harder compounds. As you can see, both drivers struggling with understeer on this uphill section.
And remember,
really feathering it.
That is where we had issues last week at Watkins Glen. Drivers had issues. They were on cold tires every single time.
Crane does go wide out of 6. Had to go do some week 13 mud skipping for a second there. But does gather it up. Only loses a fraction of time. Only losing about 2-3 tenths there. So still a net gain overall within 2 seconds of Lion, keeping the pressure on. But they have checked out.
Yeah.
And I think it's only fitting that our top 2 in the championship finish this out for one final battle here. Again, for those just tuning in, Lion and Crane both 1 and 2, but in the point standings, flip them. Adam Crane is currently in the lead. Will Lion is second. Lion needs to win and have some help to be able to have a chance at winning the title here.
Yep. Now you are watching Race First coverage of the IIS Championship Friday. Top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series coming to you from Laguna Seca, where Lion is the leader with about 22 laps to go. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing programming here on Race First. We have lots of it. Final race of the season for the IIS. It's been our pleasure, really our honor, to cover this for you guys. Was not our plan originally at the beginning of the season to cover this. Kind of got talked into it. And we've been having fun ever since. So it's probably safe to say, if the moons align correctly, next season we'll cover the IIS again. But we'll see. Everything's got to line up good. But don't forget, we do have, yep, there's Lion, as he's got some lap traffic there that he's trying to get his way around. He did.
Crane almost getting into the back of Murray there. Murray lets him go.
So they have lapped up to P9 now in the top 10.
Next in their sights is Chris Wilhite.
Crane uses a lot of the off-track under acceleration coming off of corner number 11. Just noticed.
You gotta be very careful there. They may have changed it, but if I remember correctly, both the inside of that corner, for obvious reasons, and if you go too far outside, is a minor slowdown. I think it's only like a half a second, maybe even less, but still you would have to lift a little bit if you do go too far out and gain too much time. Generally speaking, though, if you go too far out on that last corner, though, it's actually slower. You don't have as much grip from the rumble strips off. So it's a little bit nicer to just kind of take a late apex and get the car straight. And then actually drift out wide. As I say that, he has a beautiful apex.
He is right there. We're watching it right now. We got a hello Brazil in chat. Brazilians have not had a great race today. In fact, I don't know what happened to Cesar Cabral, but he's no longer racing right now. I thought we had 23. He must have dropped out. But
Crane's on push to pass here.
Crane's push to pass on the outside, and the Andretti hairpin. Lion gives no inches.
Yeah, beautiful defense right there. That's textbook 101 level defense right there. keep the inside line, make sure not to give the driver an inch to push you even more narrow in the corner, park it on the apex so that way they can't hold and power out while they have less grip on that less preferred outside line.
And both these guys are accurately now showing on the correct tire visually. And they are showing on the primes in game and in timing and scoring.
They both lock up as well in tandem too. I mean, I've seen drivers push each other to the limit, but between these two, it has really brought out the best in both of them. Ran a couple races alongside of them, ran Indy with them as well too. You know, they are two of the most consistent drivers on the basis. Adam Crane has been around for quite a while with these IR18s, lying relatively new to the IndyCar, especially in terms of oval racing, but his stout performances throughout the season have elevated him to be a championship contender. So, you know, props to them and to all the drivers for a phenomenal season so far, as we're starting to get to the last 17 laps here in our season.
And we are keeping it right here. This is the closest battle on the racetrack, the battle for the lead, the battle for the championship. Everything that matters is right here between these two as they come out of the corkscrew.
Yeah, Adam's got to be careful. He keeps dropping a wheel on that, as you were saying, on that off-track area. He gets a little too wide, he's going to hit that dirt, and he's just going to go set into the barrier in those mid-high speed sections. Anything can happen, as we saw at the Glen last week. Do not count anybody out. Do not count anything from happening, especially as
Crane gonna send it! Oh, so close! But he's right there, the side-by-side off exit, coming into 3 and 4. Oh, barely clears. Cuts across the nose.
Yeah, Crane thought about the crossover again there into 3 and 4,
Here's
but
a 5.
he just opted to kind of bide his time.
The chance to rest a little bit. Not a good passing zone through there. Just hit your marks. Actually going into the corkscrew, not a good passing zone, but Crane gets closer.
Crane's car is so much more compliant through there. Like the whatever suspension he's running, he must have a little bit softer suspension because it is just holding the road there. You pair that up with
Yep.
You can pair that up with like a stiff ARB just to keep the nose stable there, and it's, if you can get that mechanical grip through that section, you don't really have to rely.
He's on push to pass. He was a 10th slower that time. Previous lap, he was a 10th faster.
We'll lighten him up. Out of 4. Gonna set him up, hopefully, just to get some pressure on.
Good run out of 5. Good run out of 5. Shows in the nose at 6. Not going to be able to do anything through there. Taking a slightly more defensive position coming into the corkscrew. Will is down on the bottom of the hill. Something like a 3-story drop in just a matter of a second or two. Bottom of the hill overall right here. Coming in 10.
Gonna make a bold prediction right now. If Adam has that look again going into the corkscrew with a lap or 2 to go, he's gonna go for it. So just stay tuned. He's experimenting. That's why he's dipping that nose out. He wants to know when he can lunge.
Oh, he only has 2 pushes of the button left, and Will Lyon has a full complement at the moment.
Push to pass will be a little bit of a factor on that front stretch, but the other run-ups, if you have a bad run-up, the power that you'll get off of it still probably won't be as powerful as having a good run-up and using the draft where Crane is right now. As Crane, ooh, there's a little bit of time there. But makes it back up in that braking zone. it's that compliance over that little bump, over that little ridge as you get onto that first part of the corkscrew there. The car just looks way more stable. Crane's just gonna baby these last two push to passes until the end here. He can keep the pace with him. He knows he has the telemetry. He knows that Will also has a full stack. So there's no point in making himself even more vulnerable than where he is right now, as long as he's keeping pace. So just look for this to kind of stay like this for the next couple laps, as we are on lap 58 of 72. Line getting a good drive out of 6, but Adam rather bringing that back.
Ooh, he's right there. I think he might have washed up a little bit in the aero wash there coming down the hill.
Yeah, Adam thought he had clean air, so he just used some engine braking, did the downshift to kind of let the car rotate a little bit and then just slow it itself for that left-hander with the tires starting to get a little worn. But no, he just got a little aero wash. Wash the front end right up.
And we're going to have a lap car making an appearance here. I don't... that might be Wilhite. No, that's not Wilhite, but Wilhite is up there. That is... Okay, that's Yamasaki. So he's going to be probably looking for a place to move over here and let these guys go. But I'm sure Adam is hoping that he could take advantage of this driver and this situation. Top of the hill, down in the corkscrew.
Adam a little bit more conservative that time to that left-hander. Keeping the tires as cool as possible before the full push to the end there. It's almost like a ticking time bomb here of just when do we go? When do I use up my resources? The resources being your tire grip at this stage of the race. But they're so evenly matched, and they're both better in different parts of the track too, which is just...
Yeah, I think one's carrying more downforce, the other one's carrying less downforce.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, you're right. Through 5, Crane gets close.
Trying to see if I see anything visual between the two cars.
Taking a peek to the outside. 9, 10. Now staring at 11. Lap car in front of him. Yamasaki's in a tedious position at the moment.
Looking at their aero kits. Oh no! Oh no!
Contact! And that's it. That's it. Day's done.
You gotta be joking. Oh my god.
Left front is askew for Will Lyon. I'm not sure what happened. Let's go back in time here, take a look. We'll stick with the in-car camera. Did he just run up on him? Did he slow down too much? We said he was in a precarious position. There we see him. It's a little squirrely there. Yamasaki. He started to move over, and he thought that he would continue, and he did not.
Yeah.
And that is day done. And I know that there's some other races that they can do here between now and the end of the week for this championship. but to get in another high split race for him to get enough points in order to beat Crane, it might be championship done for Will Lyon.
Yeah, I think this is generally the highest SOF we get for the month, or for the week. So yeah, I had a chance, and unfortunately, I mean, it was going to be checkers or wreckers for Will, obviously, but that's not the way you want to see somebody go out. I don't like to call out questionable driving, but if you're a lapped car, if you're going to go offline, you need to commit to that line. But generally speaking, just hold your line and then yield, because it's the driver responsible passing that has to make the overtake cleanly. If you're ever in a precarious situation like that, unfortunately, Lyon, like you said, Lyon thought he was moving over to take the line and he was just going to stay inside. And he just kind of stayed in the middle of the road, and that's day done for our P2 in the championship there.
Yeah, I'm kind of, now after that build-up, kind of depressed. On one hand, the man in the lead here, Adam Crane, did everything that he needed to do. He kept Will in his sights at all times during the race. Never once really got more than maybe a couple seconds behind, but never lost sight of the target. That's for sure. And yes. He did what he needed to do. So he just needs to do these next 10 laps, and congratulations to him. But we've seen a lot can happen, so we don't want to count the championship quite yet for Adam, but it is looking pretty good here for the number 2. But on the other hand, you're just kind of crushed for Will, because he did everything he needed to do, and that really wasn't his fault. And I would think drivers at this level, I don't want to badmouth anybody either, but I would think drivers at this level are watching their, as he's putting the lap on Sandberg there. Sandberg's having a bit of a rough second half of this race. Drivers at this level should be watching their relatives and seeing when the leaders are coming, and getting out of their way, not just when they get to them, but before they get to them, especially late in the race when the championship is at stake.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but, say what you will, though. Adam, just like you said, doing what he has to do, doing what he needed to do, and just kept contact, and so definitely a championship drive for him, so not taking anything away from Adam Crane here, as he is looking to close out the race win and the clinching provisionally of the overall year-long iRacing championship here.
Yep.
So
to repeat, was the winner last year in IIS. That was my very first IIS broadcast. I was with the virtualracing.net guys, and they broadcasted that race at Long Beach, and he won that and won the championship. Looking to go back-to-back. Right now I've got Chris Wilhite, who now has worked his way up to 6. So we got a bit of a reset. Let's go ahead and reset. 8 to go here. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. If you just pop it in, major championship implications have just occurred. P2 in the championship, Will Lyon, who led pretty much the entire race, fortunately got into an incident with lap traffic, got damaged, had to retire, handed the lead over to Adam Crane, who has been in P2 all day. He is the current championship leader, looking just to solidify that championship. He is now P1. Rashid Craig is P2. Kevin Burrell, our man, and the rate he's going, we're going to get him in another interview. So that's always an epic interview when we get Kevin in the booth.
Why a P3 for him?
Yeah, a very good P3 for him, and might actually get him as onto P3 in this championship on that podium. But it's going to be tough because Rashid Craig's ahead of him. Matthias Kraus, P4. Chris Bauman, P5. Chris Wilhite, P6. Ryan Murray, P7 in his first appearance here in the top split. Tobias Kannert in his first appearance, and the German driver there in P8. Connor McClellan, P9, and Yannick Gerards is P10. biggest gainer of the day is Connor right there in that DHL livery. Romain Grosjean's car there, and Andretti Autosport. He is up 12 spots. Right in front of him, Tobias, right there with the German flag on his car. He is up 11. So these guys have driven hard. Chris Wilhite up 7 himself.
Yeah, Chris on hell of a drive. An amazing drive for him. Like, just keeping it clean. Good quality laps overall. In any other split, he would be on the lead lap. Like, just the pace that Crane, Craig, and Lyon had in the first 2/3 of this race was just... you used the word torrid. Yeah, it was a torrential onslaught of personal best back to back to back to back for them. So, shout outs to Chris there yet again, and we've been focusing on him a lot the last couple races, but it's always good to see people improve, and that's as just through this whole season kind of winding down here. We'll touch upon that more in the post race, but all the improvements from everybody here throughout the year just makes me excited for this community, both here in IIS competition as well as Indy Fix, Indy Open as well too. Like, it's just wonderful to see everybody elevating everyone who's a regular here.
I believe Crane does have the purple lap. I think he has a 107.486. I don't think I see anybody quicker than him.
Yes, he is the only driver in the 107.4 or 5 bracket.
Yep.
From what I can see. Amazing what clean air. It's amazing what clean air can do for you.
Right. Again. 5 to go here at Laguna Seca. On a cusp of another championship here for the Satellite Racing, the VRS sponsored Dallara.
Looks like somebody dove into the pits just to stay out of the way.
Let me watch him go through the corkscrew there, rapidly downhill, like I said, about a 3-story drop. Fortunately, the corkscrew has been the scene of highs of the business and then some lows of the business. Penske driver Gonzalo Rodriguez fortunately had a stuck throttle coming into the corkscrew, hit the wall head on, flipped his car into the trees on the other side of the retaining wall there, and died as a result of his injuries. So there's a lot of risk there hitting at the speeds that these cars are going, barreling into that corkscrew, because there's not much runoff there to really slow you down.
Yeah, it's very intimidating too. Like we were talking, it's a little ridge right before you get, or right after you get into the braking zone. So you are braking blind.
Yes. Generally
speaking.
This is probably the second hardest corner for me in all of IndyCar racing as well, because it is a blind. It is blind. I can't even say it. It scares me that much. It is a blind braking zone. You just gotta keep practicing. Reps. Seat time. Getting your zones down right. And of course, they do have the braking markers there that you can use. But yeah, man, if you miss your zone, you miss the whole turn, because that is such a quick turn. It's not one of those ones that I could over brake and still make it. If I over brake, I'm going off track.
Adam's car again, so compliant through there. It's one of the smoothest entries and exits that I've seen with this IR18 through there. In any competition, that whatever setup he has is dialed in for that pivotal part of the track there. You can gain, and we saw it when he was battling with Will. You gain so much time through there just because of how technical of a section that is. You can compromise a little bit on these flat sections, but if you tune the car up for that undulating middle of the track, you will make up the time lost and then some. So a little hint for all of you getting into open setup competition there. Compromise, figure out what works best for you and your driving style and kind of complement that. And then you can kind of fine tune where you're struggling a little bit later, but definitely play to your strengths first.
Currently taking a look at P2, Rashid Craig. 2 laps to go here. Rashid, he's had himself a great season, regardless of where he finishes today here on the racetrack or in the championship. Looks like either way he's going to have a good finish here today and a good finish in the championship. But remember, he started the year without a team. He started the season without a team, and we're going to take all the credit here on the broadcast for getting him this seat at IAR, because we put the call out and said if you're looking for a driver, you want to get Rashid on your team, and lo and behold, a couple weeks later he's driving for IAR there. So a good season for him, picked up by a great team. He's on en route to probably a P3 in the championship and a P2 here in the final race of the season. Of course, Kevin Burrell, he's come a long way since we saw him at the beginning part of the season. Was already good. Once he made the top split, progressively got better each and every race, leading up to getting a win last week at Watkins Glen. Starting off pretty well here today up front. Looks like just by sticking it out, he is going to get another podium finish. He's finished this IIS season strong. This guy you got to watch out for next season. I think you got to watch out for him. I think he's got like 3 podiums in the last 4 races we've had here, including that very, very happy one he had at Chicago on the street course. Matthias Kraus, kind of been a top 5 guy all season long. He's going to finish right there in 4th. Chris Bauman, kind of top 10 guy all season long. He's going to finish right there in the middle of the top 10, probably in 5th. But we're on the final lap, and there we zoom in to Adam Craig, who's down the hill into 10 and 11. Last braking zone, and he can see the checkered flag, and his season is done. He's going to repeat as an IIS championship, as IIS champion, get the championship, and get the win at Laguna Seca.
Champions drive, did what he had to do and then some, and then just luck went his way. He got it, and then he just drove away. He'd never looked back at all. In fact, I think had he had cleaner air earlier, he would have probably gapped the field a bit more. But yeah, stand-up drive for Crane there, championship drive. Just a dominant season from him.
Watching the last of the cars on the lead lap make their way around. We just saw Kevin Burrell with the victory weave for finishing 3rd. Matthias Kraus crosses the line in 4th. Watching Bauman now coming to the bottom of the hill, kind of just cruising at the moment through 10 into 11. And as soon as he makes this last left-hand turn, staring at a top 5 here today at Laguna Seca.
Good on Kraus and Bauman. They've both had some pretty rough luck off and on, but good for them to get a fantastic result here in the top 5. So huge props to them both for very, very good consistent running throughout the year. Just luck. You got to be lucky sometimes in motorsports, whether it's finding sponsorship, finding the right crew, or just luck on the track. So great job to those two for of top 5.
Here is your final results from Laguna Seca. Here in the final race of the IIS 2022 season, Adam Crane wins the race in the championship. Rashid Craig, P2. Kevin Burrell, the bottom step of the podium. I'm sure he's going to be happy. We'll be looking forward to talking with him. That is your podium. Matthias Kraus, P4. Chris Bauman, P5. The remainder of your top 10, Chris Wilhite, Ryan Murray, Connor McClellan, Tobias Cannert, and Lataro Bigilani, P10 there. Your top 15, Hinger, Gerards, Juan Carlos, Sandberg, and Will Lyon finishing his championship attempt here He'll go for it next season, of course, here in 15th. Everyone's doing donuts on the front straight. And we get to the second page here. Yamasaki, unfortunately, with that incident with the leader, finishes 16th. Principal Dan, 17th. Remainder of the field, Alexander, Stratsinsko, Dory, Mello, Quinegar, I hope I'm saying that right, and Cesar Cabral rounding out your 23 car field.
Just waiting to see this go official. See if the points, it does sometimes take points to get added for a few minutes there. And yeah, we are updated. Adam Crane is officially, provisionally, but with regard to the rest of the strengths of the sessions, he will be your champion.
I will try to get those up here real quick. And then we'll get some guys here in for the interview momentarily. There it is. As the page is loading slow. But let's take a look and see who we got in the interview room. We should have everybody just about here in the interview room. Well, Kevin's there. We know he's going to be excited, so let's go ahead and bring him on up. Hey, Kevin, we got you here, Gary and Nick.
Yo.
We know you're excited, man. We know you wanted a little bit extra there, but a P3 to finish up this season, the way you finished this season, a win and another podium to wrap it up. It can't be all that bad, is it?
No, it's really not. And this week this track is at Watkins Glen. Most of the track is pretty simple to drive, except obviously for the bus stop. And I guess it's the third to last corner, that kind of off-camber left sort of hairpin thing. So there, it's pretty much you're on autopilot except for a couple of moments of sheer terror, right? But here, it's more like a bit like Mid-Ohio to me. It's a real you are constantly driving around. You need to not kind of forget to maximize the track everywhere and really, I find sometimes I was... Actually, I was talking with Crane about it yesterday. I'll be in the middle of a stint, and I'll be like, oh, man, my times are so bad. My alt tires must be, destroyed by now. I'm, a second off my fastest lap in the stint. Clearly, my tires are obliterated already. It's already over. And then, the next lap, I'll run, 0.5, 0.6 faster. And, it'll be after focusing down, and it'll just be oh, yeah, it's actually because I wasn't maximizing the track everywhere, and I was just getting back into, a complacent, mindset on the track, because there really is so much, you have to push it to the limit everywhere on this track, and the tires don't actually wear that fast, it seems to me, here. So as long as you give yourself enough oversteer in the setup, or rotation in general, and they don't understeer too bad by the end, then you can push it all the way. And I kind of did for a good chunk of this race. Had a little bit of a moment at the start and lost 2 spots just to sliding out a little and catching it. No damage, no foul, but then I just held on, didn't bin it, watched other people have trouble with the traffic and the track.
Right.
And once it looked like I was kind of parked in, I went for that undercut at lap 22, which was tough because the temps were really low today. At least the air temp was low, so fuel saving for the 25 laps. For the other 2 stints, when I went with 22 to get past Anders on track on the first stint, that was actually quite hard and maybe not advisable, but it did get me past him, and then he had a bit of a moment exiting the pits, so I guess that was a good idea. But yeah, it was just it's a tough lengthy race today, and I was really afraid that something would happen at some point in the middle of it. As happened to poor Will, unfortunately, and that's it's the nature of these races, I guess. But I would not have wanted the SOF to be high enough to have the championship fight come down to that kind of moment. That's definitely, it's not how we want it to be, I guess. But it's tough, and I don't know, what a way to end the season, a huge long race at Laguna Seca, a track where people's pace varies so much. I really enjoyed the season, and obviously huge thanks to everyone who helped out, Team Watson, and even the guys from Gran Turismo at Distinct for cheering me on throughout the season, my stream viewers, and Crane, of course. We've been chatting about some stuff with this, and he's been excited to have someone new in the series. I've been excited to be here and do it. It's been really fun. And my trusty crew chief and spotter, Zach, sitting right next to me here. He was keeping an eye on things the whole race for me. So, yeah, I'm glad it worked out. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, the next season. We'll see. Open Wheelers 500 and Open Wheeler GP coming later this season, too. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And, of course, huge congrats to everyone this season. It was just a ton of fun driving. So looking forward to whatever comes next.
Yeah, it's great to have you around as always, Kevin. I know we practice together every now and then too still. And,
yeah, we got Mid-Ohio coming up later today.
Yes, we do.
Oh my god, dude.
So real quick, focus in on what's been done. Top 6 in the championship. I was just looking at the points before the broadcast. Your oval racing has gotten stronger. If you could have put a larger performance in one or two of those oval races, or been in the top split of them, you would have been within a shot potentially of a top 3 or 4 finish. Are you looking forward to that next year?
I am, and it's actually, that's why I didn't start. You'll notice I started this season on week 3 this year, and that's because week 1 at Sebring, I had never raced at Sebring at that point, back when I did it, because that's obviously coming from my Gran Turismo background. That's not in GT, and at that point I just never driven it in any other series in iRacing. And actually, right after that, I did an Advanced MX-5. And now thinking back about it, man, IndyCar there must be an experience. But obviously I would have liked to have tried it for the points. But then the ovals, I was really stressed. Everyone hears about Texas, right? Texas is like, that's definitely one of the most intimidating ovals.
Yes.
At least for IndyCar anyway. And that put me right off. But I did want to run the whole season, so I thought, okay, well, if I take those 2 off, and then that gives me still a drop week, and I just am going to commit to running as hard as I can for the rest. And I mean, even by the Indy Oval race, I started picking things up, but it wasn't great. Iowa, I kind of felt a little better, it was starting to kind of come together. And in Gateway, I really, it took a while to get to a good position for the setup there, but I overall feel a lot more confident in the oval races. And while the Monday SOFs are still in Indy Open pretty intimidating, I do feel like throughout the week, if I have the majority of a week to craft a setup, or at least even one test race before the broadcast, right, that does go a long way. When you're working on your own setup, or working even with other people, just when you need a little more time to get to the same level as some of the fastest people, having that little bit of an extra time window can be a bit of an advantage, I think. And I am getting better at it for sure. It's going to take time, obviously, but, I think I have a much better chance of competing in those next season. And there's big points for the taking at those ovals. There's really often the SOFs are crazy, and, I really would like to do well in at least a couple of them. I mean, it gives you a lot more room when things can go wrong at a road course, and they're just good weeks to be able to, there's definitely people in this series who kind of brush off the ovals, I think, or it's just not their strength, and, fair enough. But, you really, if you want to compete at the very top, yes, you can do it without being super strong at the ovals, but you really, it's not something you want to dismiss, and it can be a much easier thing to improve, I think, than, trying to find that last tiny little bit of performance at every single road track. Increasing your game from like 90% to 99% at the ovals, can buy you a lot more points in that same sense. So, yeah, I'm working on it. It's hard. Oval setups are hard, and oval racing is, very stressful to me. I always get pretty nervous overall. Short ovals really super speedways, anything. I mean, it all stresses me out, but that's good. It's a good experience to have, and I'm getting more and more comfortable with it all the time. So I never thought I would be like even over 3,000 oval I rating, so to be just about at 4K now, and to be able to see a clear path to like continuing to increase it, it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Like I have a bit of like imposter syndrome going on with ovals, but now it's like, okay, now like I can hold my own at least in IndyCar when things are going my way. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and just gonna keep trying to come back and yeah, hopefully make something happen next season. Time permitting, but I think it will. I think I'm gonna try and make the scheduling work. So we'll see.
Well, historically in the 60s, 70s, and into the early part of the 80s, the best oval drivers in the world were IndyCar drivers. And then IndyCar started to change the discipline that they would race on super speedways, intermediate tracks, short tracks, road courses, street courses, and until I believe Cup decides to do that street race in Chicago, right now only IndyCar is the only the form of motorsport that races at all of the disciplines, and it says something in a championship when you could do well at all of the disciplines. So congratulations. Yeah. I mean, you finished P2 in the Division 2 championship, which you'll probably graduate to Division 1 next season. So you finished P2 in the Division 2, so that's still good. You finished right ahead of Chris Wilhite, right behind Matsuda. So that's good there. So all things considered, you're looking on some good footing to good momentum into next season. And like I said, best interview in all of IIS right here. He hits all of the great points, answers all the questions before we get a chance to ask him, and thanks everybody without us having to prompt them to do that. So congratulations, man. I know that you guys got listeners and people or viewers over there in your YouTube channel. So go over there and celebrate with them. But congratulations on the P3 and congratulations on the P2 in the Division 2 championship. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next year, man.
P6 overall, man. I'm really happy with that. So yeah, see you guys, and thank you very much for everything you do. See you around. Have a good one. Cheers.
No problem.
See you tonight,
All right, let's get Rashid Craig up here. And for some reason I lost Nick. There's Nick. Hey, Rashid, P2, kind of a bittersweet day for the team overall. And also in the Division 1 championship, it looks like you're on the third step there as well. So not a bad day and not a bad conclusion to the season, really.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Surprised I got second. I was pretty much felt like I was going to be relegated to third. Thought I had a good chance at second until I got held up in traffic, but tried to push out the end. I was making up time, but just kind of ran out of laps, really.
Yeah. It was a very, very, very stable race for you. You had probably some of the most consistent laps throughout the entire race there, Rashad. What, how do you feel about this? A lot has changed during the season. We kind of touched on it a bit. Got picked up by a very high tier team through IAR about midway through the season, and you just took that and ran with it. How do you feel about the last half of the season, and then going forward? Are you looking forward to open season next year and then IIS early part of next year?
Yeah, like it's been nice not being like on just working by myself, like having more input on setups and strategy and things of the like, and even some instances working with getting better at ovals and just pretty much sharing information and getting better at driving technique and things like that. And I think, like, personally, I think I'm just about where I'm going to end up as far as like my speed wise. I feel like I can improve a lot of oval, and the team's helping me with that. But I'm really looking forward to next season, especially this coming Indy 500 when that comes up again. because I didn't come in until after that. So like having an opportunity to work with the team for the whole thing, and then actually getting a chance to run that race and essentially not be on my own.
To help. Yeah.
I think it's going to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's something we were just touching upon with Kevin too about points on the table for oval races as well as the special events, the official 500, open wheels 500. It's very important to have a team around you. So yeah, that makes sense. But no, you've done phenomenal. It's been great seeing your growth throughout and your comfort with the car in all disciplines throughout the years. So congratulations on the top 3 in the championship, the top 2 in the race, and yeah, give any shout outs you want to give to any friends, family, sponsors, loved ones.
Just thanks to IR for the support in helping to make good cars and giving us the opportunity to win races every week. And shout out to the family, friends that support me in the hobby, and once again, thanks for broadcasting, guys, and hopefully if you guys are looking to do it next season, next run of IS, that's something else to look forward to as well.
Sure.
Yeah, if like I said, if during the broadcast, if the stars and planets line up, I would very much like to broadcast you guys next year, and definitely watch your progress through it. So congratulations, man. It's been good having you on the seeing you here race. It's been good having you on the broadcast a couple times here in the interview room. So congratulations, and best of luck continued with IAR for the remainder of the year. I know you got some big races coming up, and we'll see more of you here soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully so.
All right, so let's move Rashid on down and bring up Adam. Hey, Adam, we got you here in the booth. You won the war and you won the battle. Looks like you're going to repeat as champion, so congratulations there. Not much really to say, unfortunately. You did everything you personally needed to do in order to come out on top today. It maybe wasn't looking like a win until the unfortunate incident right there with about 10 laps or so to go. But it still was looking like it was going to be your championship to lose all day long, and you did everything you needed to do all day long in order to make sure that championship did not fall out of your grasp at all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for having me and broadcasting the race today and all series long. It's been fantastic to see the support by everyone for the iRacing IndyCar Series. It's been absolutely fantastic, and yeah, man, what a race! Had I don't know what to say about my Q pace, but we'll have to go back to the drawing board for that for open. But amazing job by Will and Kevin both to qualify me there. Only I think like a hundredth of a second to Rashad. So I brought the big guns, and yeah, walking into this race, I knew that it would take something kind of really drastic with the soft in order for me to lose the championship. So it was sort of loose, which was good. And then yeah, the first 2 stints of the race were just hanging on to Will there, just making sure that I was saving the fuel that I needed and trying to take care of the tires as best as I could. It looked like through the first 2 runs that Will was able to keep specifically the right front tire a lot healthier than I was able to, which suggested to me that I was probably running with a little bit stiffer setup. And on the alternate tire, I'd be disadvantaged because of that. And then once we flipped to the primary tire, then that advantage would sort of flip around to me a little bit more. And sure enough, it did. You saw probably all the pressure that I was able to apply to him and how I was able to keep up to him and really just the only goal that I had was just to make him feel the heat and put him under some pressure and see if I could make him a mistake. That was really the only way that I had to get around him. It's so hard to pass here, and the dirty air actually creates kind of like a bubble that's difficult to work through. There was a couple lunges that I made down there into turn one that I realistically speaking knew weren't going to happen, wasn't going to work, but the only thing that I was trying to do was get him to save a little bit less fuel into turn one, because I'm not sure if you guys saw on the broadcast, but huge lifts and coasts into turn one, and then up the hill to the corkscrew, because of the way that the race distance worked out, you needed to save a little bit of fuel in order to make it. Right. And Will was lifting pretty early into one, and I really didn't want him to save into one as hard, so a couple lunges in there were just to try to make him save a little bit less. And I was planning on trying to set up a run Zanardi style into the corkscrew.
Did I call it?
Did I call it? Yeah, you did call it. You did call it.
Because what I was hoping was that he wouldn't lift and coast more into one, and then would lift and coast more into the corkscrew. And the couple times that I tried to set up a run up the hill, I just couldn't get around the kink there with any kind of run. Unfortunately, Will was caught up there with that lap traffic issue. So, I mean, as far as the race goes, I'm sad that it ended that way, because racing with Will is always fantastic. He's a great guy, great competitor, and because of him, I can safely say that this is one of the most fun seasons that I've had racing in the series. Who you're racing against really matters to how you feel about the overall quality of the year, and Will has been absolutely top quality the whole year. So big props to him. Either one of us deserve the championship. But as far as the microcosm of the season in this race, really sucks that it ended the way that it did. But in the grand scheme of things, the result of this race didn't really have a result in the championship, but it still would have been nice to finish on a high, even if I came second. Racing against Will is mega fun, and there's no shame in finishing second to a really good competitor like him. So yeah, big win for my I rating. It's nice to know that I can drive the car after a few tough weeks, and always good to bring home a championship for satellite racing.
Yeah, certainly. Versus last year, I was on that last race with virtualracing.net when you clinched at Long Beach, and actually, I think that was more of you just needed to take the green flag at Long Beach, and I think you won the championship there, so it was a little bit easier win. This one, you could even hear it in your voice. You kind of had the work for this one, didn't you?
Yeah, the whole year was quite a bit more intense than the other 2 years. The competition level in the series has really gone up. I think a rising tide lifts all ships, and the amount of support that the series have seen through 2020 and 2021 has really invigorated the strength of the series. So it's really good to see quite a few of the guys that sort of started in 2019 and 2020 continue to run in the series and have gotten better themselves, and are sort of dragging the whole field towards higher I ratings and higher softs. So it's fantastic to see. It definitely makes the victory taste sweeter when you're racing against fantastic competition, because you actually feel like you've earned it. And definitely this year racing against Will and Kevin and Rashad definitely feels like this is one I'll savor for sure.
So this is your third straight, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how you feeling about 4 straight?
I don't know. Just got done this one. I've mentioned to a few people that it might be nice just to take a year off, but we'll see how I feel here in a few weeks. I know that we've got the open wheel 500 and essentially the simulated month of May coming up, and through satellite racing, I have some other commitments such as IVRA and maybe SCO. Though, I mean, we'll see about that, but definitely some other endurance racing stuff, sports car stuff. So we'll see what happens and how that turns out. But IndyCar is definitely something that I love doing, and I love driving, and I love this series. So we'll see what 2023 brings. It's crazy to say.
Always good to see the multi-discipline prowess. It's kind of been the theme of the interviews, I feel like, too, and it'll be exciting to everybody around here, ourselves included, follow you if you do enter those sports car competitions as well. SEO and Iver are always really intense. So yeah, shout out to Adam. Anybody you want to do?
Yeah, take your time. You got all the time in the world. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. A big shout out to everyone at Satellite Racing, David, Chad, Cy, Alex, the support that the IndyCar program has gotten since we functionally started it back in 2019 has been outstanding. Big shout out to LS Engineering, VRS. I love my my VRS wheelbase. Actually, I got it mid-season, and all of a sudden I found 210. So direct drive really works.
There you go. Free ad for everybody. You heard it right there.
Moradness, lifestyle brand. Big shout out to my family and my fiance Jess, who I'm sure will appreciate that I'm not having to run these races or spend as much time practicing. Just amazing job by you guys broadcasting these races. It really is meaningful to the IndyCar community and the series as a whole. So big shout out to you guys for broadcasting, and hopefully we'll see what 2023 brings.
All right, well, fingers crossed, but if you need a break, I think you deserved one. But congratulations all around. Like I said, you won the battle, you won the war, you did everything you needed to do today. Congratulations, 3 in a row, maybe 4, we'll see. But go nap, go take a drink, go get a meal, go something, man. You definitely earned it. So congratulations, and it's been great having you in the booth here to come talk with us and on the broadcast all season long as being a participant in the series. So thank you very much for that, and very, very big congratulations to you and your team.
Thanks so much. I think a victory pizza and beer is in order, yeah, for sure.
There you go. Yes, there you go. I hear you. All right, well, there you go. Adam Crane. He is our champion for 2022 in the IIS. And don't have much to say. Normally at this point we kind of set up for the next race, but I really just wanted at this point to take time to thank you, Nick. We kind of when we picked this up, we kind of picked it up at the last minute. And then we needed to kind of scramble for some people in the broadcast booth, and I thought of someone. I was like, who is going to be available here in North America at this time that could do this with me, for this number of weeks, not consecutively, but every now and then on a Friday, and you're like, yeah, man, I could do this, and first of all, your growth as being a broadcaster has been tenfold, way better than I ever did, but on my first race up to my last race. So your improvement there has been awesome, and what you bring to the broadcast has been invaluable in terms of your background with these drivers, how to drive these cars, the stats you bring, and everything. So thank you very much. And props to you and everything that you brought this broadcast, and anybody at home. If I have to say that that made this IIS season special, besides all these drivers, is having Nick here, because I think he made all the difference in the world. So thank you very much, Nick. Your thoughts on the season, and then I guess we should just get out of here, because I think there's some beer and pizza and other people's futures here too.
Thanks for the kind words. That means a lot. It's been very fun doing this for the first time for a full season. Definitely different from streaming my own POV and whatnot too. But, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of fun. Twitch broadcasting and then trying to follow a race with a ton of data in front of you. Whole different ballgame. Nonetheless, let's get focused back on what's important. That's you all tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for watching, whether it's live or through the VOD. The season's been phenomenal. This is one of the closest championships we've had in IIS in a long time from what the records are showing. And everybody, as Adam Crane said too, everybody's kind of elevating everybody up. A little bit of driving I've done with these drivers in the Indy race and a couple of the other maybe off-broadcast races as well too, and practices. It's definitely elevated a ton. So I am extremely excited. Gary, thank you for the production, and I'm looking forward, and my dog is happy too. As you can hear him, thank you, baby. I'm just excited to go on to next season, and we'll see if Adam can repeat.
Well, there you are, right in the center of our screen, a screenshot of what we got on iRacing. Adam Crane is your champion with a 27.83 points total over Will Lyon with a 26.86. Rashid Craig with a 24.60. Matthias Kraus P4 with a 24.32. Remainder of the top 5 is Chris Bauman there with a 22.79. Rounding out your top 10s, Crozier, Principal Dan, Dave Porcelli, who we have not seen in a couple weeks. We miss him. Klein Busnick in the P9, and Benoit Favre in P10. I think we only saw him in a couple races this season, but he is finishing 10th there with a points total of 12.21. Well, I think that's it. My voice is starting to, even though it's getting better, it's starting to suffer. But please, everyone, this was your last opportunity to donate to the broadcast. We really, this whole season, that's the only way we got compensated was through your donations. If you're watching right now, if you're watching on video on demand or whatever, and you got a few spare bucks that you like to shoot our way, we realize times are tough, but we certainly would appreciate that. And that way we can make sure that the commentators and everybody involved in the production is compensated just for a little bit of their time on a Friday. And donating is a big part of that. It also keeps us sponsor free without me hitting you with a ton of commercials. So that wraps it up here for the season and for the championship. Once again, your podium from Laguna Seca is Will Lyon, Adam Crane, Rashid Craig, and Kevin Burrell. Unfortunately, Will Lyon came up a little bit short, but he'll be a major player next season. Your champion for the 3rd year in a row is Adam Crane. Hey, like I said, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IIS, please make sure to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our IIS broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Fridays during IndyCar race weeks. And it's always fun to look forward to those race weeks, because it's like watching, for me, 2 races every weekend. I get to do this one, and of course, we get to watch the real guys race on Sunday. So now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so the best thing you can do to help support Race First with the Weekly Grind is leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, you gotta support us by smashing the thumbs up. That's the best way to help the algorithm right there. It just eats those thumbs ups. If you're new, click subscribe. Let's turn that red button gray. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more of Race Versus iRacing programming, including Season 4 of the 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split coming up. The first race of that season is this Monday, and the continuation of the Race First Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays. Keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth knowledge, IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, hey, we know what Indy means. So for Nick Sudik, everyone here for business inquiries, before we get to that one, for business inquiries to learn more about Racefirst and what we do, you got to visit racefirst.com, where you can follow all of us on Twitter. Here's all of our handles right here. Myself, Nick, me, Racefirst. You can add all of us right now, and you can always hit us up for any questions, or you got a future broadcast you want us to do. That's how you get us. So again, for Nick Sudik, everyone at Racefirst, I'm Gary Godson saying all. Thanks for watching, and to all the men and women in the military and its first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come on safe. Who will win the real NTT IndyCar Championship and the Astor Cup? Be sure to catch this season's Championship 5 of Will Power, Joseph Newgarden, Scott Dixon, Marcus Erickson, and Scott McLaughlin, as they will do battle this weekend from Laguna Seca to become the next NTT IndyCar Series champion. Catch all the action on the Peacock app, your local NBC affiliate, or on SiriusXM. Be sure to check your local listings for the correct broadcast times and availability in your area. Thanks for allowing us to bring you all the action of the 2022 IndyCar Series, iRacing Series this season. It has been our honor. We will see all of you again real soon. Good night.